We are coming up on Valentine's Day, and I know that that often causes people to be focused on love. So I would like to speak about secrets to long-lasting love. Now, I'm not talking necessarily about romantic love, although that's where many of our minds go. We want to have that, and it's not that we don't want you to have that, or I don't want you to have that, because I do. That's a really wonderful thing to have. However, there's a precursor to that, that no matter whether you're single and happy, single and unhappy, in a relationship and happy, in a relationship and unhappy, there's a precursor to all of that that is a secret to long-lasting love, and it has to do with courting. I know that when people date, they court each other often. But my question today is, are you courting the divine presence? Traditions throughout the ages have told us that God is love, and we believe that too. And so what I want to start with is a focus upon that transcendent love that rises above our relationship status and rises above who we're hanging out with and takes us full on into the true seat of love, which is the divine love within us. Now, that may sound not as exciting or sexy or fun as having a great love in your life, but what I suggest today is that having that great love of the divine centered in us makes all that other stuff a lot more fun, a lot more centering, a lot more joyful. And so to have that, I think we have to seek out practices and ways of thinking, behaving, attitudes that turn us back to love, to remind ourselves that God is love. And so for me, that has to do a lot with some form of spiritual practice and focus each day. It doesn't have to be long and arduous. It can be short and amorous. It has to do with reading beautiful readings about the nature of love. I'm a big fan of the poets Rumi and Hafiz, who speak about God as a lover and speak poems about God that are just beautiful and amazing and bring forth images. And so when I read those poems, I can feel that feeling of God as love. It can be about meditation and prayer. It can be about walking in nature. It's reminding myself as I'm doing these things that I'm seeking the unconditioned remembering of the presence of love that God is. See, at the core of our beingness, that's what each one of us seeks, I think. We seek out and hope for humans in our life, people in our life, who will just love us just as we are, for who we are, as we are. And we may find some along the way, which is amazing and wonderful. But that's icing on the cake compared to the love that is the cake at the core of our being that's available to be present in our life no matter what. So we choose to court that presence, to seek it out, to be with it, to remind ourselves of it every single day. And what that requires of us then is that as we go out into our day from that place of centeredness, to notice love, to just notice it, to bring our attention to it, to notice the people who are in our life that we love. I notice that as I'm walking through my life, every once in a while, someone will pop their little face into my office and I'll think, oh, I'm so glad to see them. I love them so much. Or I'll see my little puppies and I'll think, oh, look at how cute they are. I love those puppies. I will sit down in front of some beautiful meal that someone has prepared for me lovingly and be so grateful for how loving that food is. Or look out at the sky and be so touched and so grateful for how this earth loves us. And so it's about being willing to notice the love that is around us. Maybe it's noticing beauty. Maybe it's noticing music that takes us to that sweet space. It's been very popular over the years to do gratitude journals, and I love gratitude journals. maybe we could do a love journal for a while. How about for the whole month of February, as some of us are noticing Valentine's Day, we create a love journal, and at the end of the day or the beginning of the day, we just write down and notice the love that has shown itself to us today. The love of people, the love of animals, the love of nature, the love of life, the love of self, the love of all that is around us. Because it does take that focus. It takes that practice, exercising that awareness of that presence within us, and then moving through our day and seeing it. And I have one other thing. It may not be as popular, but it's important. The contrast of what we don't love. Take a deep breath with me now. Looking at who it is and what it is we don't love. We might want to say, well, I don't want to do that because that will mess up my practice. But that's denial, and we don't want to do that. I would suggest that a more hearty practice, get it? Practice is to notice also who and what we don't love so much. And to practice what the great teacher Jesus talked to us when he said to love our enemies. Those conditions, situations, people might be considered our enemies because we're not in alignment with them. And it's not like we have to be best buddies with a person that we don't agree with or who we have difference of opinions about how to live our life or what's good in the world. It's not that. We don't have to be best buddies, although some people are. It's that we have the opportunity to notice when I don't love someone or something, what would it take for me to get back into love with that person? And that big overriding sense of love. For me, a lot of times I will imagine that person as a child. I will imagine and think about there's people around that person who probably love and adore that person as much as I love and adore the people in my life. And I allow myself to see them as a being of divine energy, recognizing that human energy isn't always perfect, and human energy involves my brain that thinks everybody should agree that this is right and that's right and moving that direction is the way to go. But that's just not how we're built, and that's not the nature of the diversity that God has created here in this universe. And so I have the opportunity, instead of trying to make them be different or pushing them out of my heart, I have the opportunity to say, how could I love and honor even that which a part of me does not want to love? That thing that I'm separating myself from. The great teacher Edwene Gaines used to say that every night before she laid her head down on her pillow, she would ask herself, who have I put out of my heart today? And when we do this, it enlivens us, it energizes us, and it returns us back to where we started in this conversation. God is love. And the more we see love, call it out, claim it, own it, push past those places where its resistance is showing itself to us. The more love we are, the more love we have, and the more of a love magnet we are everywhere we go. Be love. It's worth it. Thanks for tuning in.
So as we settle into this space, this physical space, this mental and emotional space, this spiritual space, we know that there is only God. There is only the source of all. And God is all-knowing, all-present, all-powerful right now, as always has been and always will be. That source, that divine energy, that divine knowing knows all and is always present. And feeling into that and knowing that is true, I also know this is true, that I am one with that. And that source, that divine, lives in me and I live in it. I know that I am one with all of life, all of God, all of Source. And I now speak my word for all of us, everyone, is for perfect health. Knowing that we are all of Source, of divine, of love, I know that there is perfect health. Every cell every organ, every system is in perfect alignment with the divine expression of each of us. I know that every thought and every word and every action is in alignment with the divine expression that you and I are here to express. And so as we think about and know that that health, that physical health, mental health, emotional health, and spiritual health and connection is true and solid right now, I know that each person hearing this and those that can't physically hear it are totally healthy. Physically, emotionally, spiritually. Every cell, organ, and system, every thought, word, and action. And I give great thanks for this truth and knowing this health. And release these words to the action of law, knowing that it is done as spoken and even greater. And so it is. Amen.